Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Origin Orb system and more specifically the second half of the Origin Orb. Now the second half was released like 2 months ago, but I never made a video on it because the second half requires Suspendium and it's really tricky for me to recommend you guys when you should spend Suspendium on this system instead of saving it for like collab summons or the 1000 Suspendium shop or some other things. So really complicated, but I will try to give you some sort of idea in this video. Before I start, I wanted to thank BBNik for the spreadsheet that you see here on the left hand side. He created a spreadsheet with information on a lot of different systems, and it's visually represented in a way that's clear to understand. So thank you for your efforts, and you can find the link to it in the description box or my spreadsheet. You can go to the other links tab and you will find the link to it there as well. Now I will quickly talk about how to unlock it and which kind of resources you need, how to obtain them, but it's going to be really quick. The way to unlock it is to get one of the links to A rank and you will immediately get access to this system. The materials you will need are going to be soul crystals that can be obtained when summoning for a unit. It's tied to the rarity of the unit, so you will get different amounts based on whether the unit is SR, SSR, SSR plus or R, whatever. So that's the only way to obtain it. And the second material you will need for the first half of the tree is going to be the instruction manual. The instruction manuals can be obtained in a few different ways. The main one is going to be the workshop store. If you go in the arena tab, you can exchange 80,000 coins for 3 books of the color you pick. And you will need to buy these bundles 6 times for the first half and 14 times for the second half. This is really a lot of books that you have to buy, and you will probably be gated by those at some point. So yeah, that's the first thing to mention. You can obtain them also in other ways. You can exchange them for the green crystals in the gem shop. I would never do that because the number is only 1 and it kind of messes up the other purchases from the arena shop, so I would avoid it, and also it's not really that worthwhile. Another way that they recently introduced is with the special summons. You will get some books of the color of the SSR plus unit, so in this case we get blue instruction manuals. You're not going to get many of them, but it's an additional source of them, and if you happen to be summoning for the unit, it could be something to take into account. The other way that it seems to be the standard from now on, at least for the last 2 stories it was like that. If there is a story event in the event exchange shop, you will find 6 books for every color. Here we see yellow and purple, and in this one we see the other 3 elements. So yeah, that's another good way to obtain those. And yeah, that's pretty much it on how to obtain the resources to invest in there. And I will say, before going in the second half of the Origin Orb, you should get all elements to the plus 10 swiftness, which is the first half. And your priority, if you're just starting out, is to get at least 1 element to the plus 10 swiftness that will give you the Shinsu blessing. This will allow you to overcome the limitation or like the Shinsu walls that you will have every 20 levels. Like for example, you're at level 80. From 80 to 81, you will need Shinsu to go over that. And most of the times you will be short on that, especially early on. And there is also a huge power spike from level 80 to level 81, or every 20 levels for that matter. So it's really important to get this +1 that in a fight will take your links to 81. If they're all at 80, they will all be at 81 as soon as you unlock the first one. So that's really important. And if you are buying the Tower of God Premium, which gives you the +5 levels, you don't need to rush for one. You can just evenly level them all up, or just focus on the 3 elements you are using the most, etc. Kind of up to you. I think Archer Q has some sort of guideline for it in his guide, so you can refer to it for the first half. Now I want to focus more on the second part. I would say for me, the second part since it will require a lot of suspendium, we can see here it's 22,000 for every single tab, for a total of 110,000. That's really a ton of suspendium. So from my point of view, you have kind of two ways to go about it. I will first mention that I wouldn't worry about this until you get to around floor 40 to 45. Theoretically, you could just save everything until you get to the floor when the enemies start having effect hit and effect resistance. I don't really recall what floor that is. My guess would be 65 or 70, but I would still say it's worthwhile to unlock even earlier. So I would say around floor 40 to 45 you could already start thinking about this system. And from my point of view, you have two ways to go about it. The first one is just save all your resources as you would normally do. So don't spend it on anything if you're free to play, and just use it on the occasional events we will have, like the 1000 Suspendium shop at the end of this month, or maybe the collab, etc. Just use it normally for those events and those events alone, and save as much as you can. Once you get to 110,000, if we don't have information on the next 2 to 3 months that we're going to have a specific event, then unlock all the 5 second half at the same time. This could be an option. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it, but that's kind of up to you. The only thing that this does is kind of allows you to be prepared for last minute events, but the downside of it is that you are not going to get stats in this time. If you instead go the second way that I'm going to also talk about here, that could be like invest 15,000 a month. That would mean in 7.5 months you would finish them all. Why am I saying 15,000? Because I think on average a free-to-play player should be able to save 500 suspendium a day just from the standard stuff. I'm not counting for the proficiency unlocks, for the report level ups, for the adventure clears, for the trial clears. I'm not accounting for those, just from the conquest, arena, free suspendium we get every day. Just for that, I think 500 a day is a reasonable estimation. So if you invest all the free stuff you get, the 15,000 a month, on the system, in 7.5 months, you will have it complete. That's kind of the idea. What this gives you is that you also gain stats in the meantime. So it will be a bit stronger. You won't have as many issues with accuracy. You will have a bit more damage. You will dodge some crowd controls or debuffs from the enemies. So overall, is a pretty good strategy to follow. The downside is that you will have less suspendium if there is a last second event we didn't foresee or anything like that. So could be a bit tricky, but I think it's probably a way that's preferable to the other one from my point of view. But again, you have to make the final call yourself. This is more or less the thing I have in mind. Now, we get one thing now that is called Expirable Suspendium. And that one cannot be saved. So from my point of view, let me check if I can see where should be this one, right? Yes. So like in this check-in, we get 3,000 suspendium after 7 days. This 3,000 is going to expire, doesn't say it here, I'm guessing end of the update. So you definitely want to use it. You cannot save it. And I believe using Expirable Suspendium for this system is definitely a good investment. And we're also going to get it from the Hell Train Arena, but that one is a bit trickier because we're going to get it for the next update. And the next update we will have the 1000 Suspendium shop, so you might as well spend it there. But this 3000, if the expiration is the 24th or 28th of August, then by any means I would use it on the Origin Orb system. And yeah, this will also be the case if they decide to give us a lot more Expirable Suspendium here and there. Before it expires, if you have doubts, I would definitely drop them in the Origin Orb system for sure. Because really, 7.5 times, the more I think, 7.5 months, the more I think about it, the more it seems like a really long time. So I would use all the different kind of free stuff that are giving us to slowly upgrade this system over time. That's really going to benefit you a lot, because 80 effect resistance, 80 effect hit doesn't seem like much, but it could be pretty beneficial. Additional 150 accuracy, 150 evasion is also pretty nice. 18% crit damage, 18% crit damage reduction. Not as important, but still pretty good. The increase in stats is probably the least important one that we got here. And then we have 10% physical pierce, 10% magic pierce, and 10% special move pierce. Really good increases. Is not like super insane, but definitely a substantial support for your units. So it's something you will have to work on eventually. I would leverage everything that you can. If you're given free Suspendium, I would probably use it here instead of some other systems that we have here and there. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to mention, guys. I don't know if you have any questions on this system, feel free to ask them down below in the comments. But again, as I said, I cannot really tell you when to do it, how you should do it. I could just try to narrow it down between two different approaches and give you an estimation of when I would start worrying about this system. So yeah, that's pretty much all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!